Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ryan. Today I'm going to go over how I ship a boombox. We have this boombox right here that we're going to get packaged and ready to ship out this morning. Stay tuned. For a couple of things that you're going to use to help package your stereo or boombox. So the first thing is a good tape measure. So you can do the height, the length, the whole dimensions of your boombox, so you can kind of get an idea of what size of box you do need so you can ship out. The next thing is, once you know the dimensions of what you're shipping, is a good box. So I have a 15 by 12 by 10 here. Luckily for us, this is a pretty special boombox because the speakers actually detach from it, which is kind of cool. So I'll be able to use that box by putting them together, and I can individually wrap everything. So that's going to be pretty nice for us. The next thing is always have a good pair of scissors. It's good to have a good box knife and some tape. And once we get everything bubble wrapped, I like to use big bubble wrap. I don't have that much left, so I'm going to use what I have of my big bubble wrap, and then I'll go to my little bubble wrap. Preferably use the big bubble wrap on the main component of the stereo, and then I probably use the speakers with the little bubble wrap. After everything's packaged, it's good to have a good scale. I ended up picking this scale up, I think actually at a garage sale, so a good scale always matters. I do have another scale that I use for my daily stuff. It only goes up to 10 pounds, which I'm not sure what this is going to weigh yet. So I brought out one that kind of goes up a little higher than that. So these are some of the things that you're going to need to help ship. So tape measure, scissors, cutting knife, bubble wrap, box, some tape, and just use with caution. So let's start wrapping it up. First, we'll go ahead and take it apart. Slides off nicely. So from there, on the back, we'll have to unplug it so it doesn't rip the cords. They're red, but one side has a little black, so you can kind of see where it needs to be red and black. So hopefully the customer is able to figure that out. If not, we can always help them out if they reach out to us. So there is a little wrap area for it, so we'll go ahead and wrap that up. Just like that. And like I was saying, I do want to do the main part first, because I think using the big bubble wrap on the main part is probably the most important, because that's what's going to control the radio, the cassette player, and everything like that. So, and then whatever's left, we'll use the little bubble wrap. So we'll take our speakers, move them out of the way. We'll grab our big bubble wrap, lay it down, wrap it up, use our scissors. I like to go over about an inch or so overlap. I like to use painter's tape just because when it's regular tape, sometimes it's kind of a pain to get off for the customer. I know from experience when I get packages, it always irritates me because it just rips the whole thing. But I also like to reuse a lot of bubble wrap and things like that. So then we're going to go ahead and wrap it again. And we're not going to have enough. So in these situations like this, I like to take what remaining bubble wrap I do have, and I'm going to split it, cut it in half. So we'll cut it doesn't have to be perfect, just somewhere in half. And we'll take one, we'll do the end, and we'll go ahead and add our tape to it. Boom, boom. Flip around. Do the same thing on the other side. And this is just how I package. I want to make sure stuff gets to its destination okay. Some people might be like, oh, that's kind of overkill. Some people might say, oh, that's not enough packaging. This is just what I do. And everyone's kind of different, but this is how I package, and I've never had something break along the way. So, long as it keeps working, I will keep using it. I've shipped out multiple VCRs and boomboxes, so this is exactly how I ship out. Not saying that something might not break, but because there's always that risk that something might break in transit. Just kind of always depends, especially on who's caring for your package when it goes out. So you always want to be cautious, and kind of, I like to always think like, if this person is going to throw my package, is it still going to be safe? Because I'm sure a lot of us have shipped before, and you notice that people at the post office or UPS, FedEx, they just chunk your package like it's nothing. Even though you might have paid $30, $50 to ship an item, they don't really care. I mean, you can put fragile all you want on the package, but they don't. So there's our first one right there. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in the box. So we got our box here. We'll put our first part in the box. And move that out of the way. Next, we'll get our speakers and wrap them up pretty much the same way. Kind of overlap a little bit. Got a section. You don't really have to like measure out like, oh, this is, 15 inches long. Like, you don't really need to do that much of it. You just need to make sure that you have a good amount of overlap, in my opinion, just especially on the more sensitive parts, especially if you're doing electronics. I feel like it keeps it safer, in my opinion. So that's what I do. So we need to make sure that it's nice and safe for our customer. This is a really cool boomboxes. For when I test my boomboxes, I like to kind of almost spend a day with it. I like to test it out and see if it's gonna last an evening of just hanging out, listening to music. I feel like that it's been a really good way to test items, because you would hate for a customer to get an item and then all of a sudden like, oh yeah, I bought it for a birthday party so we could play, and it went out within the first 30 minutes. Like, you don't want that to happen. So that's why I like to kind of test it out myself in these situations. And I listen to a lot of music anyways. So listening to music on a boombox, honestly, it's kind of cool. Especially if you have old cassettes or things like that you can listen. I have one that's like, what is it, 60s surf. If I am able to, I will post a picture on somewhere on this video of it, and it's got Surfing Bird on it. So it drives my wife crazy. But it's humorous. I like it. So that's usually my test cassette. I also have like some Roy D. Mercer, or just some older other cassettes. So I got my speakers, and we will go ahead and throw those in the box as well. All right. So we got our box ready, just like that. It does look like we're going to have a little bit of a gap. So to avoid any kind of shifting, we're going to add some paper, and we're going to go ahead and cut down a little bit so it fits a little better. So let's do that. All right, so we got some packaging paper that we're going to go ahead and fill some of this gap. You definitely, when you're shipping electronics, you definitely want to make sure there's not much gap for it to shift around. Give it a nice little wiggle test. And like I said, there's still about, that's why we got our tape measure. There's still about a 3-inch gap on top. So we'll just say about 2.5. And what we're gonna do is just cut down the side here just a little bit. And so it can fold over a little bit more. You can go ahead and cut some of it off to save on weight if you need to. I've done that just like because even 1 ounce over can make an item no longer $10 but $15. So, you know, sometimes you just gotta play with it a little bit. So we're just gonna fold it in, fold it in again, fold it in, and fold it in. Now it's not gonna look the prettiest, but it will be safe. So let's go ahead and taper down. What was that? Oh, that's from the bubble wrap. So we'll go ahead and tape it down. All right. Ran out of tape. That's why we got our scissors. All right, now we have it all taped up. So everything's secure on the sides, secure on the bottom. It's not shifting when you shake it, and that's what we want. So we'll grab our scale, throw it on the scale. Looks like it's going to be 8 ounces, or 9 pounds, 10 ounces. I think. Oh, 8 pounds, 1 ounce. So sometimes you can look to see like, oh, it's 8 pounds, 1 ounce, but what if it's 7 pounds, 15 ounces? Where can I save, you know, an ounce on here? And that's where we could cut some of this off to sometimes save some money. So, you know, sometimes you can, when it's pretty close, just play with it, but don't lie and say, okay, well, this is 15, or this is 7 pounds and 15 ounces when it's, you know, it's over 8 pounds. Always kind of overestimate. So make sure you are not lying, because when they weigh it, they will charge you. So be cautious of that. So let's get this shipped out. All right, so I got our label printed. I'll go ahead and put that on our package. I just put it right on front. So when I printed the label, it was $12.15, but if it would have been 7 pounds 15 ounces, it would have been, I think, $11.58 or something like that. And to me, going back through the process for 60 cents wasn't worth it. So that's why I was like, all right, I'm cool with it. And that's what we did. And so we'll get this dropped off at the post office. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, leave a comment. Tell me some things that I could do better about shipping. Like I said, this is how I do it. I've never had a complaint with it. Everything's secure, nothing's shaking or rattling. So this is how I do it when I need to ship bigger items. So thanks for stopping by, and if you like it, like I said, leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment, and see you next time. Bye.